Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're back from Costco, our belly full of those delicious cheap hot dogs, as Sebastian, playing as the Red Franks, prepares to take on the Viper, playing as the Blue Incas. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Franks are the OG cavalry civilization, harkening back all the way to 1998, Age of Kings. Their knights come with extra line of sight, their stables can be upgraded to work much faster, and all of their mounted units come with extra HP starting in Feudal Age. Now, to support their heavy cavalry on the field of battle against pesky things like halberdiers and camel riders, the Franks can actually turn to their unique unit, the Throwing Axeman, a ranged infantry unit similar to the Malian Gebetto, whose range can actually be further increased with the Bearded Axe upgrade. Now, to help a player produce as many Throwing Axemen as possible, Frankish castles do come at a 25% discount, so 488 stone compared to the usual 650. To help feed a big, hungry Frankish population, their foragers do work faster and they get all the mill upgrades for free. Now, if you've ever watched my videos where we watched an Incan game, you know my thoughts about this civilization, the quintessential counter civilization. If your opponent is going cavalry, turn to your Kameyuks, a ranged infantry unit with a long spear that comes with a massive bonus against cavalry. If your opponent's going infantry, go to the Slinger. This is an archer unit that comes with also a big attack bonus, but this time against infantry, and which can be upgraded to have an even +1 bigger attack. To counter archers, Incans can turn to their skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, all blacksmith, and all university upgrades, but can be even further upgraded to have no minimum range, which, by the way, takes care of one of the biggest weaknesses of the skirmisher. Now, on the field of battle, to make your Incan army nice and tanky, you can upgrade your slingers, your Kameyuks, and your eagle warriors to get extra armor and to help you build and support your massive military industrial complex. Certain military units do cost less and less food as the game progresses, all the way from 15% less food in Dark Age to 30% in Imperial. The Incas start the game with a free llama, which either gives them 100 extra food immediately or another unit to scout the map with. Your buildings cost 15% less stone. Your houses support 10 population space against the usual 5, and your villagers are harder to raid because starting in Castle Age, they benefit from infantry blacksmith upgrades. And as you are now aware, take a look at the top right of your screen, they get all the infantry blacksmith upgrades. So those are our two civilizations. The Viper already, or rather Sebastian already starting to wall off his base. Both players at 15 villagers apiece. Let's take a look at their bases, see if any player is in any advantageous or disadvantageous position. Our Frank, primary gold a little off to the side, but in the kind of forward position. Primary stone off to the side here to the north of his base. Wood lines close by, 2 of them at least, and the rest is pretty much open. Very big distances. No wonder Sebastian has already started to wall this base off with a bit of a funnel. Not a full wall off, making sure that if the Viper tries to engage through the south here, he has to go through town center fire. Now the Viper, oh man, take a look at this base, completely open to the forward position. Primary gold a little bit off to the side into the back. Primary stone a little exposed in a nice little U shape or a backwards C, depending on which way you're looking at it. The south, easy to wall off. The east, easy to wall off, but man, this whole forward position looks like he tried to build a barracks here, thinks better of it, places it here instead. A nice hill that he might want to take control of in order to make sure his opponent doesn't get that extra hill attack bonus. Let's see what the players have seen of each other's bases. So on the whole, the bases both fairly wide open. I would give the Viper a small advantage in terms of where his gold is located, just because it is a little bit in the backwards position, whereas this one's a little bit in the forward position, but ultimately nothing too game deciding, nothing too earth shattering. Sebastian has seen the base, tried to go into there, but the Viper with that gate, never ever want to go into the Viper's base if you can't micro your units amazingly. Otherwise, he will trap your units. He is the quintessential, playing the quintessential counter civ in the quintessential way of trapping units. The Viper, on the other hand, has not discovered where his opponent is at all. We'll see if he moves north or west. Oh, he chooses to go north instead. Oh, he's so close. He's right there where the berries were. One tile away. Sour, sour vision here for the Vipers. So early game scouting definitely going to Sebastian, who, take a look at this, sees the town center, sees where the gold is, sees where the stone is, sees basically where everything is. And the Viper realizing, hey, wait a second, there should be some kind of indication of a settlement here. There is not. So I'm just going to turn around and go this way. Is 20 seconds away from Feudal. His opponent already up on the back of one less villager. Sees the stable, knows now where his opponent is located, and immediately will either go home or continue his scouting or engage into the scout of his opponent. Both players now in Feudal, 20 villagers apiece. Viper going up to 24, Sebastian going up to 22. Someone's scout's going to die, and it looks like it's the Viper scout. That being said, he did manage to find where his opponent is. So that scout has kind of, served his purpose as a quote-unquote scout. He did manage to scout. And now the Viper is moving forward with a spearman. Is he building a second one? No, he's building an Eagle Scout. Okay. Sebastian using this opportunity with the weaker scout to start getting a little bit more vision. Seeing that the Viper has 3 villagers on gold, knowing that he's kind of soft committing to the gold at the moment. Viper does show up with 1 spearman, but 1 spearman against villagers. No upgrades on the spearman. Needs to be very careful, otherwise this might happen. Got a bit of a outline war here behind this Frankish barracks. And let's see what the players are building. We saw the archery range. That is the only structure that the Viper has put up. Archery range and a stable going up for our Frank. No villagers yet on gold, despite the fact that he has 97 gold to the Viper's 38. And now 2 Frankish scouts, a third on the way. We'll see what kind of damage he can do here. Like I said, you have to be very careful when you try to attack the Viper's resource lines. Oh, wow. Sour loss, another Eagle Scout. So 2 kills to none for Sebastian, although now has to be a little bit more careful. The Viper microing this Eagle Scout very well. Will take out, gets the first kill for him, but again, loses another Eagle Scout. Oh, and Sebastian has to get the hell out of dodge here. Not a fight that he wants to take against a Spearman. 1 more poke, 1 more prod, and this 4 HP Scout will die. Okay, so the Viper, even though he's down 3-1 kills, not exactly game ending at the moment. 28 villager supply to 28. Army supply, he is actually ahead 5-4. Closer to 5-3 if you consider the fact that this scout has 4 HP. It is back. The Viper thought he was going home. No, he is here. And he wants to continue scouting. He wants a vision on these berries, maybe. How many villagers here? Only 2, but 2 is good enough to shoo this guy away. Blacksmith being built in the back position. Maybe will form part of a wall off. We'll see what the Viper decides to do. 3 scouts, 1 spearman. Viper takes a few unnecessary early shots. Oh, and Sebastian's micro fantastic. Keeping 2 of these scouts in full health. This 4th one has to be very careful. It is basically dead. Okay, so the Viper is very slowly with this spearman exploring the western frontier of Sebastian's base. Sebastian has already walled off the bottom portion of his base. Starting to look like a funnel shape here for him as well. I mean, he knows that he's a few tiles away from Terra Incognita here. And instead of walling off, builds a scout. I don't mind this at all. And by the way, sees this massive army of the Viper moving forward. 10 army supply to 8. Although, again, 10 army supply closer to 7 just because this 1 scout is, again, 4 HP. Viper, though, doesn't seem to care. Moving forward, there's a villager, a farmer, with a rake, with a hoe, with whatever implement this is, and a bucket. We'll see what he's going to do, what kind of a ruckus he can cause. At the same time, Sebastian has the exact same idea. Moving forward towards his opponent's base. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh my god, what a move here by the Viper. This is why you don't use trees as a wall off. If you didn't catch that, let's show that to you again. So there's an acacia. I thought it was an acacia. It's a dragon tree. The Viper here. Chop, chop. builds a palisade on it, destroys the palisade, and he is into the base. Let this be a lesson to us all. Never, ever use any resource other than gold or stone to form part of your wall off unless you want your opponent to do exactly what the hell the Viper did right now. Oh my goodness. What an absolute epic little move here. Unfortunately for the Viper back home, he's got 6 scouts, 3 archers who are going to turn this into a kill box. And unless he wants to delete one of his own structures, he's not going to be able to exit out of here. And these are not skirmishers. These are actual archers. He himself has not been able to get much done with this army. 1 kill on them only. Can't really enter into this town center radius unless you want to take a bunch of arrows to the face. And now the Viper did lose a villager. You see his butt cheeks melting into the sand. I'm kidding, of course. That is his back. Decides to disengage the scout cav here, realizing he's not going to get that villager before he makes it into the town center. The Viper's circling, but Sebastian much better defended than the Viper here. The Viper again walled himself in. 11 kills for this Frankish army here. Even more units. Sebastian cock of the walk right now. Super confident that he can hold this position, and a tower as well. Oh no, the Viper's entire offensive is now going to stall. A tower here as well, but a lot more room to maneuver and a lot more areas to attack into for these archers. The Viper's got to be careful. I mean, Sebastian's got to be careful now. This is a kill zone as well for these archers if they stick around. So the Vipers has to pivot. But where the hell is he going to pivot? Unless he wants to attack into this little rectangular nook here. Impressive play out of Sebastian. Kill count 15-6. Though, take a look at the supplies. Sebastian also ahead in villager count, but way down in army supply. And the Viper now out with 2 spearmen will be able to shoo this entire force away. Its HP is terrible. It's down 70% of its HP. But the Viper also has to be careful again. Creating a funnel means that any of attempts by him to penetrate into this base through the only opening available will draw a whole bunch of town center fire. Archers are coming back. They mean business. 4 kills for them. They're going to insert themselves into the nook, though the Viper sees it. He sees the red dot on the mini-map, runs away immediately. And now he's back here as well. So Sebastian needs to figure out a way to either lay him in multiple locations or not. Okay. Not paying too much attention here. Is managing to wall off his last remaining lemon bush. And now the Viper is in here, but there's nothing in here for him to do. There's no more villagers here. Wow, so he's going to be in a very dangerous situation here. You know Sebastian's going to be keeping an eye on this blue blob on his mini screen. The second it moves out, he's going to garrison all of his villagers in here. By the way, behind us, both players heading up to Castle Age. Sebastian about 30 seconds ahead of his opponent. More and more kills, 16-7. And the Viper's army, although it's big, 10 army supply trapped behind enemy lines. And all it's costing Sebastian is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms that are not being tilled. Not a bad situation here for Sebastian, although take a look at the Viper committing fully to Feudal Age. 22 army supply to 9, although again, 10 of that army supply is here, poking away at a mill. Sebastian hitting Castle Age first. We know exactly what that means for the Franks. The Knights are coming. And now he's leading the Viper's army on a merry little chase in the middle of nowhere. Okay, the Viper chooses this moment to try to bust out of the contain. But look at Sebastian. Okay, he managed to escape with 2 eagles. That might be potentially the worst thing he could have done here, although their HP is not great. 2 knights should be able to absolutely wreck this, even with 2 spearmen. But the spearmen are moving out of position too. Okay, the spearmen realize that they're way out of position. Unfortunately, way too late. They both die. The Viper's still in the center of the map here with this army. A lot of eagles for him. Warrior upgrade on the way. But what a fantastic, fantastic play here out of Sebastian. Still ahead. 24 kills to 9. 8 villagers to 1. And that is why he's ahead. 47 villagers to 40. Army's still not done, by the way. 5 kills on the remaining survivors of that army. Oh, this is bad, though. This is a lot of resources wasted, unless it was just designed to draw out these Eagle Warriors. 5 Knights against 9 Eagle Warriors. HP going down on the Knights much, much quicker. Eagle Warriors managing to get a Knight as well. Will they get a second? Almost. Monastery coming out. This is, if I had to guess, probably for healing. But take a look. The Viper. Eagles to the north. Archers to the south. Eagles to the south. More armies streaming across the map, including a monk. Not too sure about the Mangonel right now. 10 Knights, though. Take a look at the army supply now. Sebastian in firm control of the numbers. 21 army supply to 15, 48 to 43. The Viper's southern portion of his army has been wiped out. The last 2 remaining Eagles keeping vision on the stone pile. He sees that it's one of 2 stone piles, and he knows the Franks need stone for their cheaper castles. So he is definitely keeping an eye on that. And look at the army from Sebastian ready to pounce right as these Knights distract the hell out of these Eagles. Let's take a look at upgrades. +1, +2 against the Knights with +1, +2. But the Knights, I believe, do no damage to the Eagles. The Eagles, of course, should do no damage. No, sorry, I forgot about their cavalry. I always forget about the Eagles and their cavalry and camel attack up bonuses. Don't ask me why. There are some things in this game where, even though, again, been playing and watching and casting, not casting, but been playing and watching for 2.5 decades, have enjoyed the game for a long, long time, still, there's just some things that my brain can never remember. And one of those is the difference between the Lithuanian upgrades, the hill and the tower. The other is the attack bonuses of Eagles. Monk +8, cavalry +3. That being said, there is a lot more HP on a Knight right now, 120 to the 55 of the Eagle. The Viper moving away, losing vision of that stone, probably at the worst time he could. Our Frank building a second town center. Looks like there's going to be a clash here in the center. Incan monks, not exactly Aztec monks, but they will get the job done if these Knights overcommit. Oh, volley from the Mangonel does take away some of the HP on this army. And let's take a look. What exactly is facing off on the field of battle? 17 Knights against 16 Eagles, 3 monks against 3 monks. But really the problem here for Sebastian, 10 pike. 10 pike with a +1, +2. And defender's advantage. So I'm not too sure Sebastian really wants to engage into this, although the longer this continues, the better for him, because these Mangonels are getting a number of juicy shots. And now there's a second one coming in from the north, and it looks like a few more red dots, although they are scorpions. Okay, pikemen, terrible shot for Sebastian. Monks trying to convert pike, do get a convert on a pike. But 2 Knights, 3 Knights are converted into the Incan army. Oh, if only the Scorpions were here a little earlier, they could have been a bit game-changing. But for now, Sebastian's army gets wiped off the face of the earth. 8 Knights are all that remain. The Viper still has 7 Eagles, 5 Pike, and still the 2 converted Knights. Both players losing all of their village, all of their monks, rather. The Viper replenishing with 2, a 3rd town center as well. And look at the vision for the Viper. This is why he kept these Eagles around. So now he knows they're not there to kill anything, although luckily for them, did manage to get a villager. He is face planting into the sands of Arabia, but more importantly is the vision. Now the Viper knows there's a town center there. Now he knows that stone is about to be taken, that castles are what's on the menu for our Red Frank army. 10 Eagles, 7 Pike, 2 Monks, and 2 converted Knights. Opposing them, we've got 12 Knights with this one here, 2 Scouts, a Mangonel, and 2 Scorpions. Is he building more Scouts? No, just the 2 and plus one, another one somewhere. The Monk needs to heal this Scout if he... I'm assuming the Scout is here to try to snipe the Monks. If that's the case, maybe focus on healing up the Scouts first, because you know they're going to take a bunch of damage trying to deke this army to get to those juicy, juicy gold-heavy Monks. Second town center going up for our Inca, but... look how far behind he is already. 9 villagers behind. He is down 2 town centers at the moment. And this last surviving Eagle, he saw the stone collection. Now he's going to try to see if he can catch and snipe a monk. And this is why you wanted these guys who had full HP, because otherwise they could have stuck around and tried to get that monk. Instead, though, because of the... No, I think that may have been a full HP one. So why did he send only one? Second one moving out. Sees the monk exposed, but he's going to see a big ol' army in a second. Will he try to go for it? No, he turns around and runs. Will he get converted? He will not. Viper continuing to get relics, continuing to get more and more scouts as they... Oh, what a cool death animation here. Look at this guy. Spread eagled. The Viper moving forward with this army. Now it's 19 eagles, 8 pike, 2 knights. Upgrades, +1, +2. No way that Sebastian can engage into this army, not even with 18 knights. But a castle already going up for him off the back of these stone miners. And again, looks like actually there were stone miners here as well. Okay, Stonewall will stall this army for a little bit, and the pike are nowhere to be found. So this is not a bad engage here. The Viper will lose. Should lose this knight. Yeah, pathing in this game is very unpredictable. But at the same time, unbeknownst to Sebastian, Eagles are wrecking his economy. 5 kills already. Reinforcements. The more mobile army here is for our Frank, but for some reason engaging into big clumps of battles. Okay, siege might be the game-changing, game-deciding factor here, but it looks like a big, disgusting scrum in the middle of the map. Oh, but the Viper with the pike should be able to absolutely wreck this. 25 army supply to 13, and he absolutely does. The Knights have to get the hell out of Dodge. Loses another one to a convert, but we'll lose this. No. Oh, throwing axemen are out. Absolutely fantastic. I love this unit. Back from the late 90s, very, very early 2000s, when one-on-one Frank Wars deathmatch was the basically game of choice. Man, was it fun to mass these guys, these throwing axemen. They are just such a fun unit. And by the way, super duper cheap, 55 food, 25 gold. And they do a lot of damage. Take a look at that. Eagle Warrior +1, building +1. If you can mass them in any good amount of quantity, in any good quantity, they can potentially become deadly. For now, he's just stopped at 5. What's the HP on these knights? Almost full HP. This could be potentially deadly for the Viper. Will lose a whole bunch of army, but has the wherewithal to have garrisoned a few of these pikemen. Sebastian needs to see this and get the hell out of Dodge. Damage has been done. Oh, one more swat, and he would have gotten that villager. Instead, he loses a knight. And the fun continues in the center of the map. Now it's the Viper's turn to try to raid the back of the economy, but uh-oh. Knights backing themselves onto a corner. The axemen aren't here yet. Now they are. I don't think they really need to run away. This is not an army that the Viper wants here right now. There's only 1 pikeman? Okay. 2 circling this way. Knights are not exactly... I mean, they'll kill a bunch of villagers, but they're not exactly the tankiest against town centers at the moment. Take a look at how much damage this town center does. This knight should fall in one more volley, assuming it lands. At the same time, pikemen in the south will definitely die. Not much those guys can do. Villager fighting villager, and Eagle backstabs him. And the Viper thiefs the relic that was here in the Hakuna Matata community of ostriches and zebras. 3 relics to 1. It looks like it's going to be 4 relics to 1 in a second. And look at the Viper building up barracks here to the north. Plans on some kind of proxy attack. But now Sebastian is safe. Let's use this opportunity to zoom out. Take a look at the base we're working with. 104 Frankish villagers, 86 for our Inca, 22 army supply to 34. Of that 22, it's throwing axemen and knights. The Vipers is monks, knights, mostly eagles and halberdiers though. So, even though the pike do counter the knights, I'm starting to worry about quantity here for the Viper, because these throwing axemen, if they're given any kind of free range here, could be game changing. Oh, they have to get the hell out of Dodge. And I think he needs to build a lot more of them. Maybe add another 5 or 6 at the moment. He's gone up to 8. Again, they're not expensive. Can't afford almost... Oh, he just sold a bunch of stone. That amazing Frankish ability to build castles for cheap means that he doesn't need that much stone. And look at the resources. Looks like Sebastian's trying to head up to Imperial. If I had to guess, the Viper is 50 seconds away from Imperial. Oh, this isn't good. Out of the 14 pikes, 7 are down here, and these throwing axemen are just going to have a field day with these guys. These pike have absolutely no bonus, and oh no, a fifth of the Viper's army supply just got shredded in for free. All he got was 1 throwing axeman in exchange for this. But the good news for our blue Incan, he is 2.5 minutes ahead of his opponent. Andean Sling now being researched for him as well. So, excuse me, the slingers are going to have... Where are the slingers? Does he have any slingers? He's got 1 slinger. Okay, so they're going to have a +1 attack boost, and also they're going to have no minimum range on them. An interesting choice. I would have thought maybe he would have gone for fabric shields to add melee and pierce armor to his units. Unless I'm missing something. No, I think an Andean Sling basically just affects skirmishers and slingers, right? Okay. I might be wrong. In any event, 2 barracks have pumped out 6 of these Eagle Warriors. In a second, they're going to be elite. And now the raids will begin. These are the Hussars for the Meso Civs. Their speed is pretty damn fast, 1.43, but there's a stone wall here. So the Viper sees the castle. Throwing axemen should not engage into this at all. There's 10 elite against 10 basic throwing axemen. The upgrades on these guys, +1, +2. Oh, and the house goes up a little bit too late, but is it a trap? Is it a trap? The throwing axemen are here. Man, look at how quickly they get rid of that HP on the Eagles. At the same time, the Viper is raiding in the center of the map. He's raiding this town center. He's raiding this town center with those converted knights, but a castle here will be able to shoo him away. Garrisoned villagers will be able to shoo these guys away as well. They are fully upgraded armor-wise, so they've got 8 pierce armor. The Viper is everywhere, but my question is he getting enough critical damage done? His opponent is only down 15 villagers. His economy is up and running and roaring, 1,600 gold. And if your Frank can get up to Cavaliers even, it's going to be very bad news for our Incan, who continues to raid. Got 5 more villagers since we last checked, but now, take a look, Sebastian stabilized. That being said, Bodkin, Conscription, Chemistry, he is strengthening his castles. He is strengthening his ranged structures and units. The Viper, though, continuing to be as annoying as possible. Red getting a Treb out as well. Which castle is training the Treb? What am I missing? Oh, it's down here. 2 Trebs. Hand cannoneers on the agenda, on the menu. One of the biggest weaknesses of the Mesoamerican civs, of course, is their ability to handle gunpowder, which is why I suspect the Viper is transitioning to skirmishers. He's got 1 skirmisher. Eagles in the gold line. One of Billy Joel's lesser known hits. But even these Castle Age Knights with their +1, +2 attack are enough to be able to shoo away these Eagles. And look at the Viper splitting 4 to the left, 4 to the right. These ones are going to run into Castle Fire. These ones are going to run into a Garrison Town Center if Sebastian's quick enough. Trebs shelling away at Trebs at the moment. Sebastian looks like he has the high ground here against this castle, but this is a big old army. Sebastian is planning to overwhelm. He is going to be maxed out in terms of armor upgrades. Is he Viper's Eagles not really accomplishing much down here at the moment? Probably would have preferred to have 8 extra Eagles here in the center, but the Viper is not done raiding. I say he's not accomplishing much, but I'm actually pretty wrong. He's accomplishing quite a lot. That being said, Sebastian, 95 villagers to 140 of his opponent. The question is, does he care? Army supply 46 to 38, and by the way, in my opinion, the better army supply, because a lot of this is in monks and slingers who are not closing the distance. They are attacking knights, which is not what slingers are supposed to do. This castle looks like it's going to fall, but at the same time, the Viper here to the back. Oh, Man, if you're trying to force castles out of your opponent, you should not be doing that against the Franks. Army supply, though, 28. Sebastian is now down both in army and civilian population. That being said, he's moving forward with 5 trebs. 17 hand cannoneers. Looks like the Viper's kind of done for now. Although building more and more. Okay, another defensive castle. Sebastian must be wondering where the hell the Eagles are coming from. Might do well to send some units over here. Oh, the Eagles. The Eagles, they're so quick. And why are the hand cannoneers retreating? Oh, Sebastian is just giving up way too much ground here. Eagle into the stone line as well. Sebastian's got 1,000 gold. Why is he building light cav? I mean, if the Franks had hussars, I would say maybe invest more into light cav. But there's how many? There's only 1 monk left here. I mean, maybe it was to snipe all the monks, but okay, now we've got more in the production tab, more hand cannoneers. 1 throwing axeman left, and he dies, so no more throwing axeman. The Viper continuing to raid the hell out of his opponent's economy. Does manage to get this entire stone line. 92 villagers for Sebastian. He looked like he was building such a fantastic army composition, but the Viper has just turned this around entirely. Now he's fighting elite skirmishers with hand cannoneers. Oh, 1 more volley. There you go. I don't think slingers get any bonus against archer units. Okay. There's that fabric shields. That's going to add the Kamayuk Slinger and Eagle Warrior armor upgrade. Or boost, rather. Okay. Look, Sebastian is stabilizing. Even though he's down 60 villagers. His army supply potentially, or his army composition has the potential to be very, very powerful, especially since the Viper... Oh, I was going to say, it looks like he's transitioning to trash, but no. Sebastian just raided way too much. I don't know that I agree with his resigning. Look at his resources. 800 wood, 450 food, 1,600 gold. Let's take a look at why he resigned. I hope it's not just because of villager count. Because I don't know if that's necessarily enough. I mean, sure, 80 villagers to the 140 of your opponent is never, ever, ever good. But now you've got castles up in all your strategic locations. It's going to be harder to raid through the south. I think Sebastian made a bit of a critical mistake not scouting out where the hell these eagles were coming from. The second he was raided the first time, he should have sent at least 1 light cav or 1 scout up north. And just took a bunch of really, really bad trades here despite having the stronger unit. And like I said, the Incas, just the quintessential counter. The Viper going eagles and pike to counter the cavalry. Then he went skirmishers to counter the hand cannoneers. That Incan adaptability, and look at the numbers. I mean, 94 army supply. Sebastian, even though he's got the resources, I think just ran out of steam. How many? 6 archery ranges, 7 stables. Again, I think he should. I wonder if instead of going to hand cannoneers and light cav, he should have just upgraded his units to cavaliers. I mean, he definitely had the resources to go cavalier when he had those 14 or so knights. That's not an expensive upgrade, the Cavalier. It's really the Paladin upgrade that's the crazy one. And if you go Cavaliers, all you need to worry about then is the monks, which, by the way, the Viper had a lot of, but with enough light cav, I think you would have been A-okay. The problem is all the static defense in the world against a unit that has 10 pierce armor with that fabric shields upgrade, not 8, 10, is going to feel very, very little damage. This unit is basically a faster, quicker Huskarl. And now Sebastian is in trouble. Let's take a look at the stats. 48 knights, 146 eagles, APM for both players. Fantastic. Sebastian's coming in a little bit in the earlier stages of the game. The Vipers very recently. Economy very, very similar, even though the Viper had more gold from the relics. Let's take a look. He's ahead in wood. He's down in food, ahead a little bit in gold, and stone count, doesn't really matter the difference here because, again, Frankish castles with that 25% discount But this is the real number. Look at this. 127 villager kills. So while our Frank with the stronger army, obviously the hand cannoneer, the knights, the throwing axemen got more military kills, but ultimately all these raids from the Viper did disable the economy to such a degree that I guess our Frank, who is literally, 16 stone away from having another castle, just decided there's no way that he could catch up. He sees all of this happening, by the way, and I guess realized with these, first of all, beautifully placed outposts by Sebastian. Take a look at all the vision he has. So he knows his opponent is mined out of stone. Again, I'm not too sure this was the best GG. I think he definitely could have fought on. Maybe 5 trebs was way too much of an investment. That's 2,000 resources. He did manage to knock down the castle that was here. But again, I wonder if I could go back in time in the multiverse and see Sebastian upgrading to Cavaliers and then figuring out where the hell these eagles were coming from. If he had just done those 2 things, would he have been able to hold, and not just hold, but would he have been able to swarm over his opponent? Because take a look at the Viper. He's not exactly well defended in a lot of these places. He's just as open and exposed to raiding. A tower means nothing to late game Frankish cavalry units. And again, he's basically out of resources. There's no more stone or gold here. Stone. Let's take a look here. There's a bit of a patch of gold down here. 375. So about 2,000 gold left for the Viper. His resources are not fantastic, even though he's got a lot more villagers. And by the way, keep in mind, when we look at the economy, look how close it is. Remember that Sebastian is down 60 villagers and has been down significantly the entire game. So his economy, in theory, one could argue, was running much more efficiently than the Vipers. And again, I just wish he would have stuck around for a little bit longer so we could have seen what kind of damage he could have done with those heavier Frankish Cavaliers. Attack upgrades missing, fully upgraded defensive-wise. But I think Sebastian did a little bit of a kitchen sink approach here, where first he went throwing axemen, which I loved. Then he went light cav. Then he went hand cannoneer. Then he lost all his knights. Then he lost all his throwing axemen. Then he lost all his light cav, except these 3, which look like they're about to die to this pikeman here, or rather 2 pikemen. And then he had nothing left. He built 5 trebs. 5 trebs is fantastic, but you need to defend them. You need to back them up with something. And I think having that heavy cavalry, I wish we could have seen it. But in any event, ours is not to deal in fantasies, but just to observe and see what happened in real life and try to figure out what the players are doing and why they're doing it. So yeah, at the end of the day, he was raided to death here by the Viper. 127 kill. Viper, by the way, has as many civilian kills as he has military kills. And so he was able to withstand a absolute brutality of a military engaged throughout the game, because again, he lost 200 and basically 50 units, and he only killed 128 of his opponents. So somehow the Viper here militarily takes twice as much damage, but continued rather to deal the economic damage that he needed to. Sebastian taps out, lives to fight another day. The Viper gets the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.